Hello, guys. I didn't make myself my hot chocolate, unfortunately. Try, what's up, Mian? Waiting for more people. Okay. Charles, I know, is on vacation, so he's not here. Um, let's wait 3 more minutes and let's start after this. Try, when are we gonna have the boxes from Vietnam this week? Okay. Whew, 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 whew. Okay, let me repost the thing. Forward. Okay, so nobody's joining, I guess. Whatever. I think it's a holiday weekend. Try. Question. If you can you speak or no on the thing on the chat just to quickly clarify the situation in Vietnam. Just box, and then after this we're gonna go and talk about something interesting today. Actually, or maybe cannot talk. Anyways, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start the following thing. It's July 4th weekend. Everybody's taking off, whatever, except for me. So something that needs to be covered in continuation to the stuff that we discussed last week in terms of the network effect and what are some ways for for this network to actually make money if it's a decentralized network. So we did talk about obviously the fact that the token prices, although the utility points, utility tokens, they might go up in value because lots of people need them, lots of people want them. There's pretty good demand for them. Um, on the other hand, there are also this huge consideration of fees, which we also discussed last time. So the fees could be pretty interesting. Just to say it one more time, right? So if you have 365 days, for example, and we have 20 trades a day, and each trade gives us on rebates 0.01%, so that turns into 73%. Now, with Big One, they said that it's possible if we have good volume as a network, it's possible to bring this number to 0.04%. Therefore, this is going to be 292% a year, if I'm not mistaken, right? So this is just rebates. Now, obviously, you'll say, well, that's all great. I mean, this is amazing. Why are you not doing this yet, Peter? Why not giving us these results? And I actually spoke to members of our team who work our asses off, who work their asses off, uh, nonstop, like even today on weekends. You guys are not even coming to webinars, and we working. So, and they basically told me this. The question that I posted in front of them, I said, guys, okay, so what should we focus on for the rest of the summer? Should we focus on sales, or should we focus on like developing like the rebate system where every new person comes in and just makes money? And the unanimous decision by the, well, I'm still thinking, but the unanimous decision of everybody I spoke to is we're not going to do rebates. They don't want to do rebates. Why? Because they want to focus on sales. Because the concern that they have is this: uh, we couldn't introduce rebates right away, and therefore like this humongous results. But then it will only attract people who are looking for those results. It's not going to attract people who really share the vision and who actually going to, drive the project further. And while it's a very tiny, teeny, invisible uh, kind of point of consideration that, hey, but you still, Peter, but you still got to have customers, lots of customers. But here's the thing. Tomorrow, hypothetically, US government or governments worldwide say, hey, like there are no rebates possible in the crypto space because of this, whatever, regulatory document. Um, because of this amendment to whatever. And in that case, if that's the case, if it's impossible um, to have rebates, then people who join us they will join us so fast, and they will leave us fast as well. And that's what really happened to the majority of exchanges. And that's why Coinbase Pro and HeatBTC, based in my personal opinion, raised their fees, because lots of Coinbase at one point in time, Coinbase Pro, I think it was end of 2017, it was the most downloadable app, even more downloadable than Instagram, in this like one shirt week or one shirt month, because people, like in panic, in a lemming kind behavior, just decided to join the app. And obviously a year later, lots of people unsubscribed because they're not believers, they're just customers. And customers are driven by who knows what, by some very illogical and very irrational, oftentimes, um, value add, benefits, etc., that create this whole enigma,
Oh,
around. What's up, Eric? That creates this whole enigma around this um, whole space. So in order for us to offer rebates, basically, like my question was, the sum is going to be a little bit slower, and because it's going to be a little bit slower, it does make sense to uh, to focus our attention on something. So what should that be? And the unanimous decision is just to focus on sales. So I'm not trying to like hint or imply anything or state anything, but we do need sales. We do need more global networks involved. I think we're gonna have something from Netherlands with this new person, Yuris. He just joined last week, and he seems very, very excited about the product. Obviously, in Thailand and Southeast Asia, we have Try, and we have the new person who is trying to see what he can do. iPirat. I today in the morning at 8 a.m., 4 hours ago, received a message. Somebody would like to represent us in West Africa. I don't know who that person is. At least that's a request. So we'll see how that goes. But we definitely need more communities and more things. So at this point in time, we definitely need to focus on believers still, on creating this whole network, because otherwise it's not going to work. Because if we just create the rebates, it's a very risky proposal. Yeah, it will make you guys money, uh, in the short term. Problem is, it's going to be floated with some random tourists who will leave at the very first weakness of AI, or at the very first market turn, which we cannot forecast. So, but this is definitely in the works, and I would just like to still kind of show what are the possibilities of the network, of a decentralized network, if we all unite together, if we actually do um, you do get to the understanding that decentralized is good, not about centralized. When it comes down about the centralization, I do not mean just about the centralized power, but I also mean, I'm also kind of like mentioning the fact that each individual person within a centralized structure thinks as a central person, thinks for himself. And that's the mindset that we all have, because the majority of organizations around us do have this centralized thinking, and that really hurts, because if the only thinking for each individual person is to just make money for themselves, then it's impossible to create a decentralized network. It's just really, really impossible. And that's what, like, that really needs to be clearly understood. um, because again, like the consideration, look, how are you, the consideration is really like, should I give, should we strike for this kind of returns, guaranteed returns for customers plus AI on top of it, or not? And the unanimous decision was not. It only shows that the founding team is not very happy with how existing believers are, well, not believers, really leaders. Believers are doing great. Leaders strike kind of like working around creating this network. So that kind of sucks, because I really want to do this for you guys, but uh, you know, when you have, when you have 20 whatever people around you who work their asses off, and they're not happy, it's very hard to persuade them to fucking do this. So, but still, so except for, so a couple of things, right? So the network effects will definitely include the tokens. It will include the rebates. Again, for the US people, we have certain news, and the unanimous decision, by the way, as well, was to introduce that solution for the US people, that I don't want to mention in public, only to those like very, very like close to us people. And those close enough people to us will include Eric, Charles, Joel, Michael. So those are the like top four guys who are with us for a very long time. So whenever we do that, I think this will be our US people who will get the advantage of whatever I don't want to mention. But whatever I don't want to mention, hopefully, if it really works out, if it really works out, it's gonna be absolutely great for you guys, for the people that I mentioned here in the US. But another thing that I would like to talk to about is, so let me actually write it out. So obviously, the benefits of decentralization here. So the benefits of whoever is listening to this right now, or etc. Eric, I heard you. Is tokens, um, rebates, and there's another one that is very interesting, is arbitrage. So exchange arbitrage. And that's basically what I would like to focus today's webinar on, because I did focus our attention on the rebates last or 2 weeks ago. I did focus our attention on the tokens for a very long time. That tokens will also grow in value, hopefully, again, if the network keeps growing. But the exchange arbitrage is something I did not really discuss ever. And I was actually preparing for today's webinar, as opposed to normally I don't, because I just don't have time. But today, for the last half an hour, I was trying to actually prepare and try to figure out what's the best way to explain how the exchange arbitrage would work in a decentralized organization. And I'll try my best. But if my explanation sucks, then I'll probably have to uh, do a better explanation and then reshoot the video at some point of time. But just bear with me, because all these will be possible with decentralized things. Yet it will be impossible with decentralized things. For example, well, rebates will be impossible with decentralized things, because each individual user will have to be stuck to their own exchange, and that exchange will be in a specific region, specific geography. And if you are by yourself in that specific exchange, you're not going to be subject to any rebates for the most part, because your volume per se is very small. So you have to join a bigger organization that does not rip you off, that does not charge you unreasonable fees for profits, and still give you rebates. And that's what we would like to become as a decentralized organization. So together here, like one person individually cannot do anything, but if 100 people are trading, then everybody is getting something. That's the whole point of, like, this is, I don't know why it's, I'm pretty sure that for many people who are watching this, not now, not you guys who are in the chat, but like who will be watching in the main group, I think for the most people, it's still not clear. People still think that, oh, just fucking give us the box. That's not the right thinking. Like, the box will not solve anybody's issues. The box will not solve it, because even if our AI is great, you will lose money on commission fees, right? So you still have rebates, but the only way for us to get the rebates is if you have volume, very big trading volume, and the very big trading volume is associated with lots of people joining. So lots of people have to join first before we even if the box was ready, it's not a good idea to give it out anyways, because we don't have in certain geographies, because we don't have too many people there yet, right? So I'm just saying. Now, but let's talk about the exchange arbitrage, because that's another way how we could also make money. And the reason why I like exchange arbitrage, and the reason why like I'm even bringing this up, because these two are guaranteed, more or less guaranteed. As they're called they're called like basically like more like arbitrage, right? So arbitrage, the definition of arbitrage, if I'm not mistaken, is riskless profit. So you will definitely make money with no risk. While AI, you have risk associated. We cannot guarantee 30 to 50% a year that we're trying to expect, that we're trying to shoot for. We can't guarantee it. Can we guarantee it? Short answer is no, we can't. Really can't. Because what if the market drops down tomorrow? What if AI stops working? So far, it's doing great, but we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Therefore, we have to start thinking of ways to hedge ourselves. Obviously, the top believers will not, like, they won't care because they love the project, and the top believers realize that over the course of 5 years, over the course of 10 years, you'll still be dramatically up, even if there are some downsides for a month or 2 months, whatever, or even for 6 months, because the crypto market overall is good, because AI overall is great. So it's but we still would like to kind of like present this hedging opportunities. Rebates, the reason why it's an arbitrage, because well, kind of an arbitrage in this whole crypto trading system or ecosystem, is the fact that we don't risk anything. So we are just putting a limit order, and if the limit order gets executed, you guys get rebates, so you guys get additional stuff. So that's arbitrage. When it comes down to exchange arbitrage, it's also riskless. And the best explanation for index arbitrage is, let's assume that I would like to buy oranges. Actually, we have Luca here. So how about this? How about buy olives? I think olives is Greece, but probably Italy as well. So let's assume I buy a pound of olives for $100, and I have somebody in the US to resell that for $500, right? So this is Italy, and this is US. So is there risk included? Of course, there is some risk included, because I have to collect olives in Italy, so I have to have staff of people to hire. These guys could be drunk. These guys could be junkies. These guys could just, one of their wives is, is pregnant with a kid, so he has to skip work. So there's certain risk with HR. But if I eradicate that risk by over hiring a little bit more people to make sure that whoever, like 20% of people, do their thing, but 80% of people still do the job, then there's also risk with, so I collect olives. I need to make sure that I preserve them properly so they don't get rotten. Then I need to transport olives from Italy to the US safely, so not too many olives being eaten by rats on the ship, on the containers, etc. Then in the US, I need to make sure that I bribe some local mafia in the port, if mafia still exists, probably still exists, to make sure that my olives are safe. Then I also need to figure out that there is a distribution channel, whether I'm selling to wholesalers or I'm selling directly to the retailers. So this whole chain of this whole supply chain, I need to make sure that everything goes well in that whole supply chain. In that case, it's riskless. And there's still certain risk included, but this is kind of the idea. The idea of the exchange arbitrage is that at some point of time, you buy cheaper and then you resell at more expensive rate. And the faster you can do this, the less risk there is. So if you buy it at 100 and secure the $500 sale right away, resale right away, and you collect the cash, therefore you up for $400 with no risk. So that's basically the whole point of the arbitrage. That's what this word means. So I was trying to prepare again today for this webinar, but I'll probably not do a good job just letting you know right away, because I didn't finalize the last part. But let's assume that so far you have me. Let's assume that I have two exchanges, two accounts at two exchanges. So I have Coinbase Pro CBP, and I also have let's assume BQuant. And I have exchanges there too, and I have money there on my account. So here I have $100,000, and here I also have $100,000 already deposited to the exchanges. And let's assume, for the sake of the argument, that $10,000 is equal to 1 Bitcoin. Okay, so every single time I say 1 Bitcoin, it means that it's roughly worth of $10,000. So what's gonna happen is this: if Coinbase Pro has the bid-ask spread at 102 and 103, and BQuant has a bid-ask spread of 105, 101, 105. Obviously, I'm like making this stuff up. So clearly, there is a hedge, there's a risk, there's an exchange arbitrage opportunity. So, and this is what I can do: I can buy at 102, and I can try to immediately resell at 105. Because the bid here is 102, the ask here is 105. So obviously this is very favorable, and it might happen at some, from time to time. Is it going to happen every single day throughout, like, throughout, every single minute? Is it possible? No. You have to scan for exchanges and you have to see what's up. And the exchange arbitrage was very, very popular before, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before kind of it got a lot more adoption, when Bitcoin was a lot more volatile. The arbitrage was very, very popular. Now it's less popular because you have to have representatives everywhere, all over the world. Guess what? Decentralization. Because if you have decentralization, then we do have people all over the world and they can work together. But for the sake of the argument, what can I do here? What I can do here is this. So I will buy. So I even created a spreadsheet here. So let me just maximize it. Yeah. So what I'll do is this. So at 102, I'll buy Bitcoin. So therefore, actually, for this argument, this is wrong. This is wrong. So this is the Bitcoin spread, and this is the Bitcoin bid-ask spread, right? They're both bid-ask spreads. So let me just minimize it. So what I will do is this. For $10,000 at $102, I'll be able to buy 98.04 Bitcoins on CBP, on Coinbase Pro, okay? So now I just bought them. Boom. Then what I'm going to do, then I'm going to send that Bitcoin, so 98.04 Bitcoins. I got to send that to my external wallet. Then I got to resend that to HEAT BTC. And I got to sell it at 105. So if I sell it at 105, I got to get $10,294.12. So therefore, for this whole trade, I got 10,294.12 minus 10,000. So I got $294. You'll say, well, Peter, it's only $294 for this whole operation. Plus, there's some fees associated here, fees here, because probably I won't be able to just submit money from here to here. By the way, who knows? But because of regulations, it's probably better to do external wallet here and then external wallet here. Plus, there's probably some withdrawing fees as well. Which we have to account for. So you have to account for withdrawal fees that centralized exchanges will charge us, and we also have to account for the blockchain fees, in this case, Bitcoin fees. So if that's the case, I'll be able to generate $294.12 on one order. That is equivalent to almost 3%. Now, obviously, these are very, very wide bid-ask spreads and very favorable bid-ask spreads, and they're probably not going to happen. And I'm talking about just one account here, being me. And I'm talking about me being able to transfer Bitcoins from one of my accounts to another account. So that is also possible because I'm just, the account holder. However, what if there are two people who do this? And when there are two people, the whole situation with the bid-ask, with the exchange arbitrage is definitely slowing down, and almost impossible because I have to trust that other person. Because at the end of the day, what I have to do is I have to transfer $10,000 from one account. Let's assume that, like, I'm talking to Luca, and Luca, let's assume, created Bitcoin account. So I'm CBP and Luca is Bitcoin. So I have to trust Luca with my $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. So I bought Bitcoin here at CBP. I know there's an exchange, the exchange arbitrage opportunity. I'll send those $90, whatever it was, 98 Bitcoins to Luca, and then Luca will have to sell it, and then I have to trust him to share profits with me. So he has to send me back $10,000 worth of Bitcoins, and he also has to send me back the half of the difference. So $294 that we generated, half to him and half to me. And that's how we made. So there's a lot of trust associated with that. And the two exchanges might not have the specific arbitrage. What if it's not Bitcoin? What if CBP and Bitcoin do not have those opportunities? What if they had it and now they don't have it? So now we have to be able to have some opportunities between CBP and, say, BitHump in Korea, or CBP and Binance, or CBP and Bitfinex. What if CBP is the most efficient market? What if you cannot have anything like that? What if you just have to focus on Bitcoin and BitHump? So the problem is kind of existing because if there are only two accounts, so CBP and Bitcoin, and if there are only two assets involved, in this case, say $90,000 $90,000 worth of US dollars, and say 90.84 Bitcoins, right? And here we have $100,000, right? And for example, what Luca could do is he could short $10,000 worth of, well, he can actually short this amount of Bitcoins. So he could be not negative 90.84 Bitcoins. And because he shorted higher price here, he would have not $10,000 USD, but he would have this. So 100,000, 294. So that's the balance, right? And then that will make sense because again, here we would just exit out. So we would just cancel each other. And then the 294 will split half and half. So that's kind of the situation because here I bought Bitcoin and here Lucas shorted Bitcoin. Now, the problem with this and the problem with just doing exchange arbitrage right now is because there's no third asset. Because you cannot really, because of all the fees, it's very difficult to move Bitcoins around outside of the exchange. But what if there's a third asset? It's called RAI. And now there has to be this heavenly music, RAI, and then this fucking music has to play now. Because with RAI, what you can do is you can just exchange RAI with each other to compensate for the Bitcoin transfers. So RAI is the native token of native coin that we would like to suggest as part of the blockchain. That's why we would like to have blockchain first. Without blockchain, it's not going to be possible to have any of this or any of the exchange arbitrage transactions. You have to have this. Now with RAI, you won't have to transfer the Bitcoins. And again, this is something that I need to like still lay out. Like this is something that I need, like I didn't unfortunately have time to prepare for today. I tried to, but just wasn't enough time because I was a little bit distracted by here and there. But you won't have to transfer Bitcoins. So this account will have $90,000 worth of dollars and 90.84 worth of Bitcoins. And then you would just transact with RAI in order to accumulate the profit because RAI will also have some kind of price. Now on this account, Luca will have to short 90.84 worth of Bitcoins, therefore appreciate, therefore have cash of not 100, but $110,294 and negative 90.84 Bitcoins. And in this situation, I think RAI will have to be transferred from here to here. And the RAI could be transferred automatically through smart contracts between the boxes. So if you do this many times with different exchanges, with people all over the world, so CBP with a Bquant, with Luca, CBP with a BitHump with say Paul, CBP with let's say some Argentinian exchange with Pedro and Felipe, our guys in Latin America. Hopefully some guy from West Africa, hopefully some dudes like Bitfinex, Binance from Russia. Then you are subjecting yourself to a bunch of exchange arbitrage opportunities in the meantime, while also doing trades on CBP, so adding volume. So you're going to be basically appreciating, your balance will be appreciating through the fees. So rebates, right? Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. So first is actually percentage. Well, actually, let's just talk about all the network effects really fast. I'll summarize it. And that's pretty much it for today. So the first way is you'll get capital gains, so cap gains through AI. So that's the box, fine. But the box will capital gains minus exchange fees, which are very high. So that's impossible unless you have a network. Capital gains. Number two is rebates, which are only possible with the network. Number three is exchange arbitrage. So exchange arbitrage will basically be more RAI tokens. So everybody gets more RAI tokens. Number four, RAI tokens go up. So these are the four ways. Before, it was only capital gains and RAI, but as we looking deeper into the issue and trying to research and trying to talk to people and blah, 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 when we started in January, we thought it's going to be this and that, 1 and 4. But now it's rebates, which is an excessive and almost riskless way of generating things. And this is also going to be riskless here, 2 and 3. And I'm pretty sure the more we think about this, the more different opportunities for generating riskless profits will create. But again, that all comes down to, do we have a network or not? And the network cannot be just a network of customers. because this customers, what's going to happen to customers is it's actually very dangerous to create a network of customers. Let's assume we have 500 boxes, of which 80% are customers. Okay, so we have the whole infrastructure. So therefore, 100 boxes are believers, and 400 boxes are customers. Custies, we call them custies on Wall Street. All right, so believers and custies. Now, custies don't like something. Tomorrow, rebates are out. After tomorrow, the liquidity is so high that throughout exchanges that the index arbitrage is virtually non-existent. Or this is just a bad month of AI, or bad 2 months of AI. Who knows? They'll say, you know what, fuck that. It's not worth it. Write a bunch of negative feedbacks, one. And second, just leave the network. So now the network only has 100 bucks believers. So now the rebates right away go even lower because there are only 100 believers. And then believers are pissed. And believers are staying with us, but then we need to still get another 400 believers somehow into the network to get back to normal. For example, I'm just saying this hypothetical situation. So the reason why customers are kind of dangerous in this situation is because if we have them, they will leave us. And we don't want that. Believers will stay with us like forever, basically. That's the whole point. That's why we're very, very careful in terms of whom we sell in the boxes. By the way, one last thing before we end. And guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. What happened yesterday? This one guy, Kenny, Eric, you know him. How did you call him? You called him. I like how you said. You called him. Problem child. The problem child. The problem child. So the problem child, Kenny from Paraguay, good guy, whatever. But he bought the box at some point of time through Latam, but he didn't buy really through the vision. Like the other person who sold him, this other very, very influential guy from Paraguay, who is a counter of our guys from Latin America, who came to the consensus here in May. I met him in person. Great guy. So that Kenny guy, has some issues. Like, oh, the box is not ready, or this or that, blah, blah, blah. By the way, the person who just joined our group, Ben Abikwi, that guy he joined our Nigerian group. Interesting. Nigerian group. RoninAi Nigerian group. I'll talk to him soon. So the guy is like kind of a customer, and he's like, well, where's the box? Blah, blah, blah. Not understanding what the fuck is going on completely. Not understanding the whole point of the network. Thinking that if he can just trade and get 50% a year with AI. Yes, he can. But if he accumulates the commission fees, he'll be up only 13%. And 50% a year is a very good percentage per year. It's a very high percentage. So the guy clearly doesn't understand what the fuck is going on. He wants the box. Okay, but there are no sales. So even if the box was ready, it would be great to delay it just before we could get more people. Even if the box was finished 2 months ago. And by the way, it's almost finished. So the guy clearly doesn't understand it. What is my job right now as a community builder, for example? Like if I'm a community builder, what is my job? My job is to actually remove all the customers because they will create problems. Because if I do not deliver him 50% returns, because in his head it's 50% returns, he doesn't fucking think about commission fees. Although it's set clearly at 50% before commission fees, but he doesn't fucking get the second part. He only gets the first part. He sees the fucking carrot and he's like, I want the carrot. I want the carrot. But he doesn't understand the implications. It's real money that he wants to manage. And that's really concerning me when people who are supposed to be wise, it's your real money. Like in his case, by the way, it's not him. In his case, it's probably his parents. That's why he's so fucking careless. He's probably some upper class dude from Paraguay who doesn't fucking understand anything about life. Didn't go through any of the hurdles. Just some upper class dude, like here in the US, we will call him white boys. Right, Eric? With all due respect to the white boys. So some dude with very careless about asset management because he has to, whether it's his money or his parents' money, doesn't matter, it's money. And he wants to put $10,000 at risk in the box. And putting $10,000 per box is a very serious thing. Like you have to really know everything about the project. And when people say, well, Peter, you have too many things to read. Peter, you have too many videos to watch. If it was my will, and by the way, that's why we're gonna work this whole July. Hopefully, if I really hope I get to clean up like my schedule, actually work on that, is to create as many videos as possible and as much content as possible that people have to read before they have an opportunity to get a box, because they have to really educate themselves. They really have to know what the hell they're getting into. I don't care about pissing a person off. I don't really care. If I make somebody aggravated and pissed off, I don't care. What I care about is making sure he does not lose money. That I really care about. If a person is pissed off and says that I'm a dick, I'm okay with that. But if a person says that I'm great and Peter, you're a god and saint, and yet I lose him money, this is something I cannot forgive for myself, right? Like I'd rather piss people off than lose them money. Like losing money, I really don't want. Like I don't like to lose my money, and I feel extremely fucking bad when I lose somebody else's money. So that's why I'd rather take an extra month. Like Max, by the way, another thing. Max, the developer, said, Peter, if it was not for you, I would release the boxes back in May with all the bugs. But I know that like you don't want this, so only because of you, like these guys have to really fucking thank you. They don't know what's really happening, because if it was just for me, I would just release the boxes in May with bugs. Bugs meaning that people would lose a little bit of money here and there if they're not careful enough. And we know that most people are not careful enough. So therefore, lots of people will just not lose money in terms of being negative, but not gonna get the whole profits. And sometimes we'll have to deal with the box, and sometimes we'll have to do like some restarting, and just super uncomfortable. So that's why we kind of feel a little bit late. So, but we would like to emphasize what happened. We said we usually don't do any refunds. But I said, Kenny, you don't like this? Fuck it. Here's your refund. Fuck off. Get your money and get the fuck out. If you want to re-enter, double the price. If you want to re-enter, at some point of time later, you'll have to pay double. Why? Because fuck you. Because like we thought you're a believer before you entered the thing. We made sure that you are a believer, etc. But you fucked it up. Whatever. But we did not refund it. What happened was Latin American people refunded him and said, Peter, one more box on us. Please give it to us. So now they have one extra box. We, from our money, did not like refund anything. So Latin American guys just refunded and just paid an extra box, but got an extra box for themselves. So kudos, these two guys. We had a very long journey with them, Pedro and Felipe. So these guys, they have their own chat. So these guys are really starting to understand what the fuck is happening. So kudos to you guys. If you guys are listening to this, I gotta definitely like thank you, you know, later. In person as well. But that's what kind of community we would like to have. Is some asshole, this asshole was under Pedro and Felipe. The reason why he's an asshole is not because he's an asshole, like not because I would like to offend him, but it's I don't want to waste people's time. And he wasted his time because he misunderstood something, and therefore he wasted my time, and he wasted Pedro's time. I know for sure because Pedro spoke to him. So the reason why I'm calling kind of an asshole is because I don't want anybody to waste Pedro's time and Felipe's time. These guys are leaders. These guys should do work. If you're not sure about this project, do not get involved. Do not get involved. We gotta get to 500 boxes and 10,000 boxes with or without you. It does not matter. But we would like to get there with you if you really believe in this, if you really like this concept. So Pedro, Filippo, kudos to you guys. Thank you very much. Luca, I thought you had a question. If you would like to, I mean, I would love to listen to it. If you have any, I'm done. Pedro, like this fist. Yeah. Guys, any questions? And Eric, yeah, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. Yes, sir, exactly. Like you really have to know what you're getting into. Like, and it's great. Like I really like how it went yesterday. We did not settle for customers, and God figured it out for us. Like it was magical. I was prepared to just give a refund. And then Pedro said, no, wait, don't do it. Luca, you have questions? Oh, sorry, Peter, I'm at work. I can. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. Okay, sorry. Cool. All right, so guys, this is it. Thank you very much for joining. Eric, belated happy 4th of July. Hopefully you enjoyed this weekend. Thank you so much for joining. Max, kudos as usual. So this weekend, what we're working on, is we finalized this latest bug. In about 3 hours from now, we're gonna test it. We gave that bug to I think 5 different teams Today we gave it. I had a call early morning with the interns, so we're gonna extend the internship to 2 people. They're gonna start helping us with that code as well, just so we have extra pairs, well, 2 pairs of eyes, and we're gonna probably have more interns this summer as well to make sure. Because at this point of time, like I really would like to finish the bugs. We gave it to about 5 or 6. Yeah, I'd say 5 teams, of which only one person is working on this still, just to give you the complexity of the code. And we gave a very high budget to people to look over things. So it was not like $10. Like we gave like very, very high price for somebody to fix it. Only one person is hopefully about to fix it. He's been working on this for a week. So so we got to test that stuff later with him in 3 hours today through real trading. Hopefully that's gonna work out. If it works out, then we're good. Then we're gonna add more exchanges and we're good. Then what's gonna happen this week is we probably gonna get one more believer from Netherlands. Great guy. I spoke to him individually. You guys know him in the main chat. Yoris, great guy. So if that works out, great. We have some potential looks from Israel, hopefully from West Africa. West Africa is a really good region for us as well. I have nobody from there, but if we can get somewhere there, cool. We might potentially get some news from Vietnam very soon about a very big bulk order of the boxes. For the US guys, for Eric, for yourself, and Charles and Joel and Michael. So maybe Kevin too, maybe Kevin. But Kevin has to stick with us for a little bit longer because I think he needs to be a little bit more educated about what's going on. So as far as this news, I really would like to get to that news by the end of August. So I would like to basically get that for you guys working by the end of August. That's gonna be great news. It does include rebates basically, and you guys can do this as part of you guys only because you guys only are U.S. residents. It's not available to outside of the U.S. residents. That solution. If it works out, I would like to implement this by end of August, just for you. Everybody else, all the new U.S. believers, they'll have to fucking go through the same route as you guys went, as we all went, you guys and us, because we like basically all like technically all parts of this project. So that's gonna be okay. So and and if you do finish the boxes, then after this, we're gonna start working on the traffic, generating more traffic. So as you guys can see, and Eric, thank you. I really, really appreciate your compliments. We do work very hard on getting more people to the group. At this point of time is how many? At this point of time is 226. It's all organic again. So through more articles, we're gonna introduce more articles. We got one person, this high school family friend of mine. He was looking for an internship. So I'm like, sure, just join us, and he'll help us, Sean. So he's helping us right now. Basically do some research for what articles we would write, and then that stuff will go to our marketing team. This marketing team will start writing stuff, and since like our conversion funnel works as well, so since it works, we're probably gonna start doing ads. Probably we'll start with Google ads, and then we'll move to the Facebook ads. And if that stuff works out, all great. Then we should expect more people joining the group, and therefore more looks and more communities. Because at this point of time, I know that Oshri from Israel would like to do something in Israel as a community in Israel. I know that again, Yoris would like to do some Dutch community, which again too early. But I know that Apirat and try figuring out the Southeast Asian community. I would like to start reaching out to people I met at the consensus because I still didn't have my hands in it, that I met from Korea and China, and Korean connection in Japan. So Korean connections will all go to Paul. Japanese and the Chinese communities, I'll try to engage myself. So guys, thank you very much for joining again. I'll see you next week. Let's keep it real. Bye bye.